There's been a lot of talk about the contents of the Bill of Rights over the past several years. Protests, political debates, even heated arguments between the adults at your Thanksgiving table. But what exactly are the Bill of Rights, and what's the big deal here? The Bill of Rights was ratified, or passed, over 200 years ago as part of the United States Constitution. It remains the most debated and discussed section of the Constitution today. The Bill of Rights makes up the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. To amend something means to change it. These 10 changes were vital to make the Constitution more fair to all American people. So why does a 200-year-old document have to have such a prominent place at your Thanksgiving table? Well, let's talk about that. The First Amendment gives citizens of the United States freedom of speech, press, religion, the right to peacefully assemble, and to petition the government. This amendment remains one of the most argued of all the Bill of Rights. But these rights seem fair to everyone, right? There are a lot of different ways that people understand the First Amendment. They struggle knowing when and where is the best time to apply their First Amendment rights. Many people thought they were exercising their First Amendment right of freedom of speech and assembly while protesting against the election of President Trump. But are these people peacefully assembling? The Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. It was originally created to protect the American colonists against the British soldiers. But today there have been a lot of violent attacks by use of a gun, some even horrible accidents. Should every American be allowed to have a gun? The Third Amendment states that the government can never force us to house soldiers in our homes. Is this amendment still necessary to today's norms, or is it important for us to maintain that kind of privacy? The Fourth Amendment is the right from search and seizure. This means the police or government cannot enter our homes without a search warrant to take our personal property. Today, the boundaries of search and seizure are a bit fuzzy when it comes to technology. Should the government be allowed to track your location using social media posts or your cell phone information? The Fifth Amendment is also called due process. You may have heard the term, "I plead the Fifth," used in several TV shows or movies. The Fifth Amendment says you don't have to tell on yourself in front of the court of law if that means you get accused of a crime, even if you really did it. What if a real criminal is released as not guilty because of the Fifth Amendment, even though they committed the real crime? The The Sixth and Seventh Amendments both cover rights an accused individual has in court. The Sixth says we have the right to a speedy trial, meaning it cannot be dragged on for months just because we think someone is guilty. The Seventh says we have the right to a fair jury and an attorney if we want one. These are important rights to be held in court, but should all criminals have these rights even after they've done terrible things? Amendment 8 protects us from cruel and unusual punishments. Is the death penalty cruel? Is it unusual? Is an unborn baby considered a citizen? Does the Eighth Amendment protect babies from abortion? Moving on to our last two. Amendment 9 and 10 state the rights not written in the Bill of Rights are retained by the people in individual states. This means that state governments can create their own laws if it isn't already covered in the Bill of Rights. Could this cause a problem for people who move across states? Before President Obama passed the law stating same-sex marriage is legal, same-sex couples were considered married in one state, but other states refused to recognize their marriage. That's our last one. Did you remember all of them? Let's do a quick review. Number 1, freedom of speech, religion, press, assembly, and petition. Number 2, the right to bear arms. Number 3, no quartering of soldiers. Number 4, freedom from search and seizure. Number 5, stating the rights of persons accused of crimes. Number 6, stating the rights of persons on trial for crimes. Number 7, freedom of jury trials in civil cases. Number 8, no cruel and unusual punishment. Number 9, covering the rights kept by the people. And number 10, covering powers kept by the states or by the people. The questions I've asked today are some of the most difficult to agree upon in our nation. They cannot be resolved overnight. In fact, some of them may never be agreed upon. That's why voting for politicians who say they will fight for the rights you think are most important is such a big deal. Today, the Bill of Rights are still a crucial piece of American history. Those who wrote these rights fought hard with the future of America in mind. Although society has undergone so many changes and events over the past 200 years, the interpretation and application of the Bill of Rights are as vital to U.S. citizens today as they were when they were written in 1789.